Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the disgusting topic of today's video, in which a member of the LGBT community once again says something that's absolutely indefensible and evil and wrong, in this case, somebody who has a beard and is wearing a dress says that they have no duty and no obligation to tell people that they're HIV positive, that they can basically infect somebody against their own will for their own selfish pleasure, which, if you want to know, one of the reasons why I don't support the LGBT community is because it is purely a degenerate, sinful ideology that puts a person's pleasure above everything else, including the safety and rights of another person. But before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed already, I would definitely recommend it. My YouTube community tab, it is, I don't want to humble brag, but I think it's one of the better YouTube community tabs because I actually interact with my audience. And that doesn't just mean, posting things in response to what you say. I run polls from time to time asking what content would you like to see. I just got done doing a video on USAID. That one's done. Now the next one in the chamber is an LGBTQ member bragging about not telling partners about HIV because they don't think it's a big deal and they don't think they have any duty of care to do it. And next we're going to be doing a video on the Prime Minister of Canada trashing the USA, and yeah, absolutely. Roman Reigns does it perfect. This is the face that I make when I see Canada running their mouth. It's like, get out of here. But anyway, yeah, this is a video from Asmongold Clips. 1.19 million subscribers. Congratulations to the editor. They've done a phenomenal job. But they've consolidated a clip here, and I think that this clip is important enough to talk about because it gets to the heart of several issues. And we'll just put it out there very briefly before we get into it. There are several reasons why I oppose the LGBT community and have never supported the LGBT community. I mean, I could go in it from a biblical standpoint, but I don't even need to. I don't even need to get into it from a biblical standpoint where God views homosexuality and the LGBT as an abomination, and it says it in the Bible in no uncertain terms, and there's no confusion about it. People want to try to pretend and play these games, and this is what it really means. No. The fact of the matter is, I've grown up near this stuff my entire life. I used to live in California, for those who don't know. Used to live near the Bay Area. I have seen the de-evolution of this movement as I've gotten older. And when I was much, much, much younger, I was like, oh yeah, there's no problem, sort of a live and let live attitude. Even, up to probably like 10, 50 years ago, I was sort of like, well, if there's a gay character in a game, that's fine. I don't have to interact. But I was never in support of this because we've seen throughout history that when you embrace degeneracy, when you abandon God and think that you're better, that humans are better, that we are our own gods, we fall every time. Every time. You look at the Romans There are so many civilizations in history that have gone by the wayside because they imagine themselves as being the apex, the pinnacle. Like we're the best. And you look at Rome as an example, and there was just degeneracy and debauchery. And when this stuff is introduced, I think it is a signal that your civilization has reached a level of decadence that is going to eventually lead to the end. That's my personal opinion. I think that when degeneracy becomes normalized, it's the beginning of the end for your entire civilization. That's just my personal opinion. And history's opinion.
Oh, anyone in my past, best dating advice. What is this?
I put HIV positive on my profiles. People don't want to touch you. I remember being on a date with someone, so I brought him back to my place. It was like, okay, like I need to tell you something. Like I'm HIV positive, and I remember he like looked at me. It was like I murdered him. I was like, I thought he was gonna beat the shit out of me. He was like, I can't believe you wouldn't tell me, and like you gave me HIV, and like was just losing his mind. And I'm like, no, that's not possible. Even if I bled on you, like in an open wound, like.
Oh, God. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. This is particularly disgusting and vile. Holy shit. And I mean it. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I made a choice when I made this channel that I would just be honest. That I would just give you my opinion as I saw it, because you're not supposed to do that. To be perfectly honest, you're not supposed to. What you're supposed to do is play the game. You're supposed to use politically correct language. If you want to be in the in group, you have to sort of affirm this stuff. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. Disgusting. Disgusting. I mean, oh God. There's nothing normal about this. And I mean, the more that they try to normalize this, I think the more that normal people are going to wake up and be like, absolutely not. And thankfully, that's sort of what's going on now. We're having a correction, and it's about time, from my personal perspective.
Like that wouldn't happen. I'm undetectable. I have diabetes. I have high blood pressure. You're not telling them any of this shit. Where HIV is now, like if you are undetectable, like you don't necessarily like have to disclose that.
I mean, can we just take a moment? Like, this is alternate universe Asmongold is looking into an alternate universe. Holy shit. They even have the same hairline. Oh my God, they even have the same sort of like crooked nose. Holy shit, like this is like Nega Asmon. This is Asmon Dark. Holy shit. Asmon Gay.
Close that.
Here's what's interesting about this concept. The only instance where disclosing it would be a problem would be in the instances where disclosing it would change the dynamic between the two people, naturally, right? Because like if there was no dynamic change, then it wouldn't really matter whether you disclosed it or not. So that means that you actively want to be able to hide something from another person in order to get something out of them.
Do you think people should care if someone they're dating discloses to them that they have HIV?
I don't think they should.
That's crazy. These people are advocating for being able to have more sexual encounters because of them lying. So it's crazy that people can like distort this argument and turn it into something that's acceptable. That's very scary.
Well, it's like... Look, he's absolutely correct. He is absolutely correct. Here's my frustration. It starts with Asmon and people like him. It starts and ends with this person. He looks at the situation, he goes, this is bad, and then that's it. It basically evaporates into the ether. But we as human beings are pattern recognition machines. And over the years, I've noticed a pattern. The people that are part of the LGBT community are incredibly selfish. Oh, not all, incredibly selfish. Live this sort of hedonistic lifestyle. Make up statements like this. By the way, if there was ever a woman who said, I don't need to tell my partner that I have AIDS or anything like that, I would say the same thing here as well. But there is no push for that I've seen. I mean, maybe you can find a video here and there, but California, years and years ago, before I left, was actually in the process of decriminalizing not telling your partner about HIV and getting them infected. In fact, I think they said they reduced it from like a felony to a misdemeanor. Like, you don't tell your person, you don't tell your partner about this disease, and you get them infected, and they took it from a felony to a misdemeanor. So this has been an ongoing thing, and it's been an ongoing problem within this community for a long time. And I just have to say that what this person said in the community that they represent, where is the... Here's the thing. If the LGBT community were great, and it were just a couple outliers coming out and just saying a couple things, where is the massive viral pushback to this? Where is the Hogwarts Legacy level pushback to this? Because this is evil, indefensible, disgusting, and just absolutely demonic. Where's the pushback? There is none. Where was the LGBT, the good ones, the good LGBT, where were they for Drag Story Hour and having these freaks come in and tell stories in front of kids? Where was the massive Hogwarts Legacy level pushback against kids being allowed to attend pride parades? The fact of the matter is that the reason why there's no pushback is because the majority of people in that community don't care, or they support it. Because, got to tell you, people in the Republican Party love Trump. But when he came out in support of H-1B visa, there was a huge hoot and holler. There was a huge hoot and holler. Trump was getting criticized. Trump was catching strays for what Vivek and Musk said. People were criticizing Trump. It's like, oh, Trump could do no wrong. No, people were criticizing Trump. And my point is that people can criticize vocally things when they see that they're not right, but the only time that the LGBT community, the only time that the trans community moves against something is when they can hurt somebody or something that is innocent because they perceive a grievance against, oh, this is transphobic. Not ever looking inward at the type of filth and rot and disgust that is just casually put out there. This person comes out there and talks on the internet. Asmongold does a video. But this is in a conversation format that's going out online. And where is the viral pushback to this? I've not seen really anything. So that's my perspective on this. I'm not going to take up much more time because this is just gross, But to end things out, I'll just say I have no problem saying that I don't support the LGBT community. I could say it's from a biblical perspective, and I'd be right. But more than that, it's because I've actually seen it. I've experienced who these people are, what they do, how they behave. Now, does that mean that I hate every person who's part of this? No, of course not. There's a very important lesson in the Bible that you hate the sin and not the sinner. I would very much like these people to abandon their selfish, hedonistic, sinful lifestyle and embrace something that is more traditional, something that is going to yield fruit in the future, and something that is going to lead to a stronger and better society. I would absolutely love them to find Jesus and have redemption. But if you're so far gone that you're in a dress, wearing a beard, looking looking like Asmongold, and you're talking about well, I'm engaging in promiscuous gay sex, and oh, by the way, I'm HIV positive, but I don't tell people. You're evil. And honestly, I think you need to be in jail, personally. Not only for the protection of other people, but for the protection of yourself. I mean, think about how, you know, I don't know how these people live with themselves, if I'm perfectly honest. If I was just out there infecting people with a disease, I, you know, I get sick, and if I get somebody else sick, I feel terrible. But imagine you know that you're sick, and you still go out and you engage in this stuff. It's indefensible. It really is. And I will never support the LGBT community. Never will. Now, if you're trans or you're gay and you're an individual and you're cool and you come to me with respect and you're like, look, here's what it is, I will treat you with respect. I'll be like, okay, hi, how are you? I'm not gonna, be like, oh, you're a trans, and then hit you with a cross. No, I will treat you, of course, with cordial respect. But understand that your lifestyle, it isn't the way. There are better ways. And being part of a group with somebody like this, I would hope that you would be able to speak up vociferously against stuff like this. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time.